Could you just state your name and then spell your last name for the court?
Savannah Rice, R-I-C-E.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Savannah, I know you're nervous, I get it. If you can just make sure you speak into the microphone and just slow down a little bit so that the court reporter can hear what you're saying, okay? And you always have to give what we call a verbal response, so if I ask you a question that's yes or no, you just have to verbally say yes or no, okay?
Okay.
How old are you today?
I'm 19.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 2 sisters, a half-sister, and a little brother.
What are your parents' names?
Gregory Rice and Meagan Jackson.
Were they ever married?
No.
How would you describe your father?
He was a very flawed man, but we all did know he cared very much about his kids and his work, and he tried very hard for the people around him.
How would you describe your parents' relationship?
It was not great at all. There was constant fighting. They were mean to each other, they were mean to the kids. Just they weren't compatible. You didn't hear "I love you" very much throughout the house.
You said you didn't hear "I love you" very much, but did you ever hear your parents say "I love you" to each other?
No.
At some point, did your parents break up?
Yes.
Do you know about when that was?
There was twice. The first time I was probably around 9. He was cheating on her. The second time, they just needed to go their separate ways, and it was a mutual breakup.
When your parents broke up, did they begin living in separate houses?
The second time, yes.
Where did you and your brother and your 2 sisters live?
We lived mainly with my mother.
Did your brother and sisters go to stay or visit with your father from time to time?
They did almost every weekend.
What about you?
I chose to stay home.
Okay. And that's okay. Why did you choose to stay home?
He would make me nervous, but also my mom would tell me that we would go do something fun together, so she would bribe me to stay home, and I would.
Did you, despite the fact that you did not go over very often, did you still maintain contact with your father?
To the best of my ability. My phone was disabled due to my mother. I could only receive calls.
When your brother and your sisters would go to stay with your father, would he pick them up and drop them off? Would your mother pick them up and drop them off? How did that work?
My dad always came to the house to pick them up, and he would bring them back as well.
When your father would come to pick your siblings up, did you go out and talk to him at all?
Yes, I would go out and I would have a chat with him, tell him I loved him, give him a hug. That was about it. I'd tell him if I was going to come over the next week or not.
At some point after your parents began living separately, did you meet a man named Christopher Dontell?
Yes, I did.
How did you meet him?
I met Chris because one, knew that he worked with my mom, but 2, we moved into his neighborhood and I met his family and we started to hang out with his family and him.
So when you say his family, was he married?
Yes.
Did he have children?
Yes.
How many kids did he have?
He had 2 children.
Do you know about how old they were?
I believe the son was around maybe 1 and the daughter was 6, I believe.
Yeah. And you said that you guys moved into the same neighborhood as the Dontell family?
Yes.
About how far away did you live from them?
It was like 3 minutes right down the road, just down our street and down another street and into a cul-de-sac.
So was it walking distance?
Yes.
Did your family and the Dontells spend a lot of time together?
Yes.
At some point, did you come to know that your mother was having an affair with Christopher Dontell?
Yes, but not at first.
Okay. How did you find out about the affair?
I had some friends over, and it was quiet. We went downstairs, and we heard them having sex in their bedroom, and it just kept getting louder and louder. And the next day I asked her, and she said, "I thought you knew."
Do you know about how long that was before your father went missing? And if you don't, it's okay.
I don't remember.
Okay. This will sound like a silly question, but do you remember when your father went missing?
October 2nd.
What do you remember about sort of that time period?
Before or after?
Right after, when you found out that he was missing. So October 2nd was a Friday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened the next morning?
She woke up, we all got up. She got the kids ready to bring them to our dad's, which I already thought was weird because he always came to pick them up and he would come in to see me, or I'd go out to see him, which it didn't happen this morning. So she got the kids in the car, and
If you just take some time to breathe, it's okay. Do you need some water?
she brought the kids to his house, and she called me, and she was really frantic. She said she had searched everywhere. I'm sorry.
It's okay, take your time.
She had said she had searched everywhere. She looked in his car. She couldn't see his keys or his wallet or his phone. She looked in the windows, and then she said she's gonna call the police. And they came back, and that was really just...
When you say they came back, who do you mean?
Madison, Blake, Dakota, my siblings, and my mom.
Okay. So that was the morning of October 3rd. How did your life change after your father went missing?
My mom wasn't home even more often. She wasn't home due to her job most of the time, but it became a lot more when he went missing. Everybody was really emotional. We didn't go out at all. My mom did, but we didn't. We really just stayed in the house.
It's okay, take your time. Do you remember when they found your father's body?
Yes. I do.
What do you remember about that?
I was at my best friend's house, and her mom came in the room. She told me not to go onto any of my electronics, but she didn't know that one of my friends from the neighborhood had already told me. I didn't believe it, but
This is kind of like a big other. Was there anything significant about that day besides the fact that they found your father's body?
that they told us my mom had something to do with it, and that all of my siblings would have to be living somewhere else.
Well, no, I mean, November 7th or 8th. Is there anything about... When's your birthday?
November 7th.
Did your mother ever mention your father during the time between when he first went missing and when they found his body? So you can answer that. Did your mother ever say anything about your father between the time that he went missing and the time that they found his body?
Yes.
Can you just tell us about that? Take a couple deep breaths if you need, but tell us about that.
She had come home drunk one night, and I was in the kitchen, and my sister wasn't behaving, and I told my mom, and she started screaming. And my sister was upstairs, but then she looked at me and she said, I hope what happened to your dad happens to your sister. And I asked her, what do you mean? And she just wouldn't say anything.
And that was before they found your father's body? My last question for now. Did the state reach out to you and ask you to come here today, or did you reach out to us?
No, I called you guys
And why did you do that?
because I believe that she,
This guy calls you speculation.
I want to tell my
Okay,
truth.
I think you can't answer that question, so we'll just,
Oh,
that's okay. That's okay. I don't have any other questions for you. Mr. Britton's going to ask you some questions. If you need a break, just let us know. Okay?
Cross-examination.
No question, Ms. Ross.
All right, you may step back.